A big hello to you all and welcome to episode 2 of Legends in Their Own Right. Before I start, I just want to thank you guys for the support for this series. You know, all the likes, comments, all your opinions and all that jazz. It just makes me happy that I'm doing something right. And I'm going to be honest now for a minute. If this was headcanon with these guys, I'd be talking for days and you guys would question even more like what I was on. But let's do what we came here to do and get on with it. Ich, ni, san, suge. Okay, first up in the Sinket, if that's even a word, is Gail LD, the 2-star from the uppers with the ability Confidence -2 op life minimum 0. Now, this is just my opinion, as it all is, but this woman is a beast. When you can set up her ability, she can be an amazing bluff, especially when damage reducers are concerned. I will say, if it wasn't for that 0 in her minimum, then she would probably see a lot less use in decks. I'm not someone who often plays T1 modes like ELO and that, but I suspect she's a fairly common sight in uppers decks. She certainly is when I play her. And I know that people have been critical of uppers 2-stars, but if you know, she is up there in terms of stats, alongside Bianca for that power reduction she has. In case any of you are wondering the obvious of where is Jonas, about 3rd or 4th. I love him, but I know he's not the best card in the world. But the bonus, as always with uppers, is going to help you a long way no matter which 2-star you use. I said earlier that she can be an amazing bluff, well, in most cases, that's not involving piranhas, nightmare, or the creme de la creme of attack manipulation. 0 versus 0 fights will most likely go her way, and you're on your way to 4 free damage if the ability is activated. And with that low star count, fellow uppers and Sacron with the active bonus, they will have to play first with their 2-star if they want to win the 3 versus 3 attack stalemate. In terms of higher stars, I'll just give an example of who won't work. Zatman. His minimum is 0, which is a shame really, because, no, wait, this is purely technical. We'll end it there. Next up is Bikini Joe LD, the 3-star freak with protection bonus. Now, stats wise and tech wise, I really do not have a lot to say on this guy. Okay, protection on that bonus means you're going to have a shot at poison against most nightmare and piranhas, but let's face it, and at the risk of the clans fans having a go at me, the freaks don't have the best bonus in the world, especially when you have abilities that have lower minimum on that poison. But to those who can use the freaks bonus, it's good to have it. He's kinda like a 3-star hula, except his poison is protected rather than trying to administer 2 doses of the stuff. There are a few 3-star that I would use before even considering him. You know, Arkandram, attack manipulation, Olga, power manipulation, Varoslav, pills manipulation. I'd even take Ironfield above him, you know, for that damage equals damage op ability and the potential to administer quite a few heavy hits. Bikini Joe, he might as well join his fellow 3-star, you know, like Dakamaka, Dio Collector and Carl, and not have any ability at all. Though to be fair to him, he does have the highest power against those 3. And then came Jaxx LD, the 4-star Geist with -6 op attack, minimum 6. This has to be said. Despite his dapper, slightly psychotic sophistication, I was sceptical to use Jaxx at first because of the abundance of 6s. I'm superstitious, what can I say? But this ability, believe it or not, can prove to be a beast against your opponents. It certainly helped me a few times, and 6 isn't too shabby a minimum when compared to other attack manipulators. However, because of this minimum, Jaxx does suffer from what I call same power / attack manipulation syndrome. This is basically when a card's ability takes an opponent down to their level and it doesn't really help them. Estal and Slyman do the same, but with power. Jaxx isn't really for bluffing in 0-pill fights unless you play first against another 4-star or your opponent has a 5-star. Anything else, you're not going to win. And 6 damage seems a bit too much to be throwing away like that. The gimmick is nice, but the beast may have been tamed a little too much in terms of his ability. However, I do find that he's more in the upper half of the 4 stars in terms of them being in competition with each other. I'd use him above cards like Nina and Kirsten and all that, and maybe above Methane because I prefer to use reducers in terms of damage. It's all about preference, but with Geist you often have to rely on your buffs. Drahira definitely because of that support, and Annabelle can pull a few dirty tricks with his conditional revenge. Oh, who do we have here? Don't worry, I'm going to be nice. It's Scott LD, 4-star of the rescue with -2 op damage, minimum 2. Now, his stats aren't actually too bad for a damage reducer of his star count, especially with the potential +12 attack backing him up bonus wise. Okay, 4 damage can be a little questionable, but once again with the active bonus you won't have to use as many pills. Now, usually I would compare to star count, but when it comes to damage reducers, I go off the damage reduced and their minimums. Now, Pastor will forever be the beast in terms of rescue damage reducers, in case someone comes along and pushes him off his high horse, and I am kinda here and there in terms of whether Scott beats Slide, with the 3 minimum 1 3-star against 2 minimum 2 4-star. Plus there's only 1 damage between them. However, I would use Scott above Steve, especially when there's other 2-star like Leah and Lothar, but not Katrina, definitely not Katrina, that you could use to replace Steve. And even though Scott has a higher minimum, he has extra everything else. But then again, he's double Steve's star count, so that is to be expected. And rounding off the Cinquette, and that is still not a word, is Andy LD, the 3-star skills with defeat, recover 1 out of 2 pills. Let's be honest, 8-4, 3 stars, and protection on a recovery ability is pretty darn sweet. Just like a Beatzer and Marty, you can 0 pill bluff to gain an extra pill, and 4 damage, like Marty but not a Beatzer because she has 5, isn't sacrificing too much. I've played a few skills matches where Andy's extra pill won it for me, so he's okay in my books. However, he does face competition from some of the best 3-stars in the game. Would you rather bring the opponent down in power with Chiara after a lost round, bring your opponent down to 0 with Praxis life draining, or recover a measly pill? Let's be honest though, he's better than Saho. Heck, a lot of cards are better than Saho. As much as I love the guy, he is crappity doodah. And I know artwork isn't really technical, but look at this guy. Look at him! Don't you just want to hug him to death? Though I will be honest, when I saw this guy's banner on his release, I was like, oh, she's so adorable! Wait, he? Oh dear. Seriously, hands up in the comments who thought he was a girl before you read the news and or his bio. Now, can I really order these guys on a technical basis? I will try. Andy first, since he's a whiz kid and the only fault I can really find with him is his competition. Then Gail because of 0 minimum and her bonus. Then Jaxx and Scott in a 3rd place tie because I can't put one over the other on strictly technicals. You all know who'd win on personal preference. And then Joe, because no offence to people who use him, but I feel he can't really hold his own against the others. It's just how I feel. Next time in episode 3 of Legends in Their Own Right, it will be the girls that I don't really use in my decks. Sylvia of the Berserk, Hopper of the Jungo, Naha of the La Junta, Lois of the Pussycats, and Liania of the Uluwatu. As for Valentina, well, she doesn't really apply to don't really use, but she shan't be missed out. As for gameplay, well, Things are about to get frosty in the Pink Club, though it may not necessarily be a girls only affair on the Eternal Ladies' Night. And once again, thanks for your support in this series. I wasn't really expecting people to appreciate me getting technical, and as always, take care of yourselves and bye bye.